Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Going to talk about Jeff Bishop Bullseye Trades. This last week was pretty exciting stuff. It was this one, SE. So he alerted it on Monday on the left here, and this is Friday on the right up here. So you can see it was calls and it was a massive move up with a lot of chop in between. So let's go through it. But first let's give a brief introduction to Bullseye Trades. So this is by Jeff Bishop of RagingBull.com, and he alerts every single Monday around 9 AM Eastern time. And I've kept a track record of all of these. It's just one options trade every Monday morning, and so it makes it really easy to keep track of it all. So if you check the link in the description below, come to this article, it's my full review. I kept a list of all the trades, including the contracts, so you can go through and backtest these. And you can see that this was the 27th, which was Monday's trade right here. And so he picked SE, April 14th, $85 calls, near $3, and it went up about 60%. I think that was the biggest one I saw people making on this. So this was the email that he released, so every Monday morning it's really convenient. He sends out the email basically giving you the plan for what he's going to do. Unfortunately, it's often packed with ads, which is really annoying, like this one up here. And then the first bit is usually him basically saying, hey, check out my other programs. The real meat is down the bottom though, so you scroll all the way down here and he nicely highlights this, saying, hey, check out these calls, here are my profit targets. And let's look a little bit at what he had to say about SE, so just deciphering it through all the noise here. So one tech stock that has been on my radar for a few weeks, and I think now is the time to get involved with it. The company is C Limited, SE. SE has been on my naughty list for over a year as the stock plummeted from $3.50 to under $50. Wow, it's quite a sell-off. The previous earning reports in November got it back on my radar though. The report they had in early March really impressed me and the rest of the market as the stock shot up over 22% after earnings was released. All time frames look like a buy signal, hourly, daily and even weekly. So he uses mainly technical analysis for this, which is pretty good. It uses some fundamental stuff there as well. And so even though I expect the overall market to pull back soon, there are not many stocks like SE right now. I would not expect to see much of a dip there at all, judging by the recent price action. I think those dips will also get bought up. Okay, so that's kind of his outline. He goes live at 11 o'clock Eastern time and talks about this and the state of the market in general. It's really interesting. Definitely check that out if you're a part of Bullseye Trades. And so he was saying, I'm looking to sell half of my position on a break above 90, and then I think 94 comes shortly after that. Ultimately, I see the stock headed to over 100 if the market continues to drift higher. And so what happened was, if you look here, this is the details. So people were getting a little frustrated because he actually sold this on a morning spike above 80, I think it was 83. Let's have a look. So on this spike, he actually sold for a 50% profit. And I think a lot of people were pretty bummed out because they then saw it sell off like a ton. And I saw a few people commenting that it never hit the $90, which is a way up here. But this happens every week with Bullseye Trades, more or less. You have to adjust according to the market, right? So if you get 50% on a trade within like less than a day, right, overnight, then you probably want to be taking some profits. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that sometimes these things don't quite make their profit targets. I mean, this got up to $88 and 90 was the max. First profit, I think, is what he said. Let's have a check back here. Yeah, so target one was 90. So if you get a quick spike and get 50% though, because remember the premiums change depending on a lot of different things here. If you can get 50 to 100%, like it's kind of silly not to take that profit, right? So even though this is a little move, I think it was quite impressive that you locked this in. The cool thing is you also had another dip buying opportunity here, well above the stop, which is way down here somewhere, 75. So we never even got close to the stop loss, which is down here. So you can see that as the week went on, this thing just continued to, let's just reset this, does this, when I zoom in, let's go back to SE here. So really choppy, which often throws a lot of people off, right? So you could have got in here though and then just hopefully ridden up into the end of the week. It didn't quite follow the market as well as maybe I'd hope, right? So the market was smoother. Guess we had a couple of down days, but it was a much more smooth uptrend, whereas SE was just all over the place. Let's take a look at the contracts though, because this is the underlying stock price, right? And it's more important that you look at the contracts for their value. So he did the April 14th $85 calls. Let's switch over to April 14th right here. $85 calls, which are here. So they closed around the 4s. But they did go a little higher than that, I think, so send to yellow here. So we'll plot the options contracts, the calls. So ignore the purple line, that's like the theoretical options price. These candles are still just the options price for those particular calls as the week goes on. So on the left here was the entry day on Monday, on the right is Friday here. And so again, you can see the chop, you can see where he got out at, up here on this little spike. But you can also see that he was able to get in the 2s rather than the 3s if you've been carefully timing your entry. And then it hit about 5 or 5.1 up here. So pretty significant moves. It's just the timing with all this chop that makes these trades really hard. And I saw a few people were making some money on this. Some people were getting mad because they basically got in and then they didn't sell on that morning spike. This guy got 60% profit. Jeff explained some of his thought process if you ask him in the thing. I saw a few people just like asking him in the comments here. I've noticed a lot of people, since we've not been doing as well on Bullseye Trades, like it's been a lot harder this last few weeks. Pretty much 2023 so far has been a bit harder than 2022 with Bullseye, which is ironic, just because 2022 was such a bad year in the market for this type of swing trading, but it is what it is, right? So we ended up with a 60% winner. Last week was pretty good too. The problem is the chop in a lot of these, and a lot of people's confidence has been knocked since there was like a loss here, then it was a bit of a loss, impossible to say, just kind of choppy, hard to do these trades at the moment. And so yeah, you can see what people are doing here. Break above 85, so that was 3 days ago, and this guy must have been pretty happy because it did break above 85 after he was saying that. So yeah, 85 is here. So it did actually break above 85 pretty quickly. Just looking at some of these, it's always interesting. Nobody's jumping up and down happy, you know, the way that they are sometimes when this service was really hitting home run after home run. I don't think this was particularly fair. I don't know how you'd have ended the week 31% down, but sometimes if you time an entry wrong on these things, if you exit too quickly, you can sometimes end up getting out for a loss when it's actually an overall winning trade. So this is interesting right here. So I did see a lot of people complaining about this. It's not the first time either where they say, hey, your first target's $90. Why did you sell 50%? You know, is your first true target always the strike of the option? And this is a really good response from Jeff. He says, the markets are dynamic. When I'm given a gift in my favor, I need to change plans. And I think that for some reason people seem to have a hard time understanding that if you suddenly have something change, so you've got to change your plan, right? You can't just stick to it if it's, you know, especially given the market being so volatile. Also, there's a lot of responsibility on Jeff here to make sure that people are getting out with a profit, even if it's not the full 100% that you hoped for on the trade. It's still better to teach people good discipline in terms of like scaling out, or at least locking in gains when you have some, right? So I wish the markets were easier to trade, with smooth, clean moves higher, but they're very choppy usually. I like to take profit when I can and rebuy trades when they fade again. I've had a lot of success with Bullseye Trade doing that kind of thing because you tend to get choppiness. You know, if you can time things by looking at previous support and resistance, sometimes you can catch multiple moves and capitalize on that choppiness rather than getting upset about it. So definitely worth exploring that if you're in Bullseye Trades. Anyway, that's all I've got to say for this week's review. Hopefully we'll have another good winner this coming week, and I'll talk to you guys soon.